Julius Caesar launched a series of campaigns in 58 BC that pushed the Roman boundaries and changed the history of the region. Besides his accomplishments in Gaul, Caesar always sought to reach what no one before him had achieved. During his campaigns in Gaul, he took it upon himself to break through a new frontier, a land unknown and almost legendary to the Romans, many of whom doubted its very existence, the island of Britannia. A mysterious and uncharted land for the Romans, Britannia was an island believed to be teeming with wealth and mythical beings. The idea of seizing this unknown territory was appealing to Caesar, who was always looking for new avenues to increase his reputation and power. He felt that conquering Britannia would not only increase his prestige, but also bring wealth and resources to the Roman Republic. By 55 BC, after crushing the Gaul rebellion the previous year, wiping out a Germanic tribe, and building the first bridge over the Rhine, Caesar decided that the best way to burnish his reputation and bolster his image amongst the Roman people was to cross the canal and venture into this unknown land. His official plea for the whole expedition was that the Bretons were assisting their enemies in Gaul during the recent incursions, but we cannot know for sure how true this assertion was. The build-up to the invasion was painstaking and strategic. Caesar gathered a fleet of around 80 transport ships, enough to carry 2 legions, and a small detachment of warships to protect them. Crossing the English Channel was a staggering feat in itself. Although the Romans were expert in land battles, they were not known for their naval skills. Caesar's determination and the discipline of his legions, however, ensured a successful crossing, notwithstanding the unfamiliar and potential treacherous waters. The arrival in Britannia posed its own challenges. The native Britons, forewarned of the approaching Romans, had gathered on the Dover cliffs, ready to resist the invasion. The sight of the natives on the rocks, together with the difficulty of landing on the steep beach, led Caesar to sail further north in search of a more suitable landing place. The beach battle was ferocious. The Romans, still knee-deep in water and carrying heavy military equipment, had to contend with the Britons attacking them from the shore. The discipline and courage of the Roman legionaries prevailed, and they managed to establish a foothold on the island. After the initial battle, the Britons, having recognized the strength of the Roman legions, sent men to negotiate peace. They offered their apologies for attacking the Romans on the beach and promised to hand over hostages. Seizing the opportunity to avoid further conflict and consolidate his position, Caesar accepted the offer. He took the decision to head inland with his legions and started building a fortified camp that would serve as his main operation base. The situation was complicated, however, when a rising tide, combined with a storm, severely damaged many of Caesar's ships. With no provisions or cavalry to easily forage, the Romans were forced to entrench themselves and send infantrymen to look for supplies, while a large portion of the remaining legionnaires had to repair the damaged ships with whatever they could find from the wreckage. After the ships had been repaired, and with winter approaching, Caesar decided to withdraw his forces from Britannia. Prior to his withdrawal, the Britons formed a tribal coalition to oust the Romans from the island. Caesar deployed his infantry in front of the camp and waited the attack. The Roman infantry held their ground against the Britons' chariots and cavalry. They were incapable of sustaining their attack, who were not used to fighting heavy infantry. The Britons retreated, and the Romans pursued them, killing anyone on foot, including civilians, as well as torching the villages. Caesar's first invasion of Britannia was brought to an end with the Romans leaving at night. While the campaign failed to result in a large-scale operation, it served as a good public relations stunt for Caesar. He became the first Roman to set foot on the island and extend the boundaries of the known world even further. In 54 BC, Caesar returned to Britannia the following year, this time better equipped and with a deeper knowledge of the Britons' tactics and terrain. The second invasion was more successful, resulting in several Roman victories and the submission of various Breton tribes. Caesar used the earlier setbacks as learning opportunities. He thoroughly studied the blunders of the first invasion, analyzing everything from the preparation and crossing of the English Channel to the battle tactics and logistics of the campaign. Caesar assembled a much larger force for this invasion. He deployed 5 legions and around 2,000 horsemen, a significantly larger contingent than the first raid. He also built a fleet of more sturdy carrier ships, specifically designed for crossing the English Channel and landing on steep beaches. Caesar lost no time in pushing inland into Britannia after the successful landing. He knew he had to quickly establish a strong position on the island to avoid any significant resistance from the Britons. Caesar led his legions across Britannia, finding scant resistance, but often advancing unopposed. He combined his battle tactics and diplomacy to conquer and subdue the tribes one by one. He appointed kings friendly to Roman rule and promised protection and privileges in exchange for loyalty and tribute. This not only reinforced the Roman position in Britannia, but also sent a clear message to the other tribes about the power and determination of the Romans. Although Britannia did not become a Roman province until almost a century later, Caesar's campaigns laid the foundation for the future Roman annexation of the island. But Caesar still had one challenge to face: Ambiorix and Vercingetorix, leaders of Gaul tribes who rebelled against Roman rule. The revolt in Gaul, headed by these two leaders, would be one of the greatest threats to Roman power in the region. This is what we will be looking at in the next few videos. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the videos.